Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm ready to do my first impressions on the Off-Grid Knives Scorpion. I got this in earlier this week, and I've had it in pocket for pretty much the entire time I've had it, either in my front pocket or my back pocket. I've been carrying a few knives at a time these days because of the channel, so I can get play with them and get a good idea of each knife, so I can, give you a decent first impressions and ultimately a review, which takes a couple weeks. It depends on the knife, depends on how much I carry it, that kind of thing. So some I can do the review more quickly, and some it'll take some time. I also, if you've noticed in my reviews, I don't really talk much about the cutting performance of the steel and all that stuff, because I don't really hard use knives. I use them for daily EDC things, cutting into packaging, opening a new knife, slicing paper just to see, how the sharpness is. But, I'm not really hammering on the blade, so I don't really speak on that, which I think would be disingenuous if I did, because I don't have that experience. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this knife here, the Off-Grid Knife Scorpion. This has a 4-inch blade, which, again, I mentioned this in the unboxing, is rather large for my normal tastes. I usually try to stay in the 3 1/4 and under range, or I should say I have tried to, but as of late, I've been getting into bigger and bigger knives, and it's actually been really fun to try out some designs and some manufacturers and knives that I previously just kind of ignored because of the size. I've always liked the design of this knife, but when I found out it was 4 inches, I kind of just forgot about it for a while. But I'm so glad that I finally got one of these in. I picked this up on the secondary market off of somebody on the Reddit Knife Swap. So that was cool. I think I paid $150 for this. They retail for about $230. And it is in brand new condition. It came with the box, came with the coin and everything. It's really cool. The packaging is very nice. It is made by WE out of China, WE Knives, which is now, WE Knives, Civivi Knives, and they've started a new, more budget brand called Sencut. I guess Civivi's kind of going to be in the middle now, so I guess they're going to start pushing more in the 70 to 120 range, and then your WE knives are going to be 150 and up, and then these Sencut knives are going to be, the $30 to $50 knives would be my guess. But anyway, this was made by WE in China for Off-Grid Knives, which is a family-run business. Really cool. I actually reached out to them the day after I unboxed this because I went to reverse the clip. You can see it has a reversible clip, which is one of the reasons I really like it. Not many of these more premium flippers, come with reversible clips, so it's nice to see. But anyway, I was reversing the clip, and as we know with WE, they use T6 screws on the body screws and the clip. We all wish they would switch to T8 all around, but it is what it is. And I was swapping the clip over, and this bottom screw here, it felt like it was starting to strip a little bit. And I use Wiha bits. So I use Wiha tools, Wiha bits. I have like 3 different kits from Wiha, which are, in my opinion, one of the best you can get in terms of Torx drivers. And it felt like it was starting to strip out. I couldn't turn it without it kind of jumping, if you know what I mean. And it kind of gets to a point where you're afraid to keep turning it because you don't want to strip it and then have it get stuck halfway in or whatever. So I ended up switching to a different bit driver and that one had a little more grip on it for whatever reason. I don't know if the bit was fresher or the screw, you know, just it matched up better. I can see a little bit. You can see a little bit where the black coating is coming off of that bottom screw. It's going to be really hard for you guys to see. But anyway, I contacted them and let them know. I figured I should probably get a new set of screws because I don't want to. Because what happens is I'm gonna send this out to some buddies to check out and review. I plan on sending this after I do my review. I'll send it over to Kyle at DTOM Knives and Gear because he really likes the big knives. He loves to check out anything he hasn't before. Again, if you haven't checked out Kyle's channel, please do. I've linked it in the description of a few videos. I'll try and do that here if I remember. He's just a great dude. He's such a positive attitude. He has such an enthusiasm when he's talking about knives. He could be talking about like a $30 CJRB and it'll just be the most enthusiastic review out there. He's just a great dude. He's a great buddy at this point. So anyway, if you haven't seen his channel, I'm sure you have, but go check it out. Anyway, so I'm going to send this to him, and he's right-handed, so I'm going to have to reverse the clip back, and I'm afraid when I do that, that screw is going to strip out completely, and then, you know, trying to use this screw over and over, I feel is an issue. Reversing it the one time, maybe, was fine, but I just have a feeling about this one screw. And I will say that I haven't had this happen many times with WE products. It happens, but not with WE products. I've maybe had it happen with one other one. I think I had a, what was that knife called? Not the Wisp. I hate when I can't remember the name. It was G10 on the front and titanium. It was a little flipper. It was like $140. It was one of their older models. The Rectifier, I think. WE Rectifier. I had that for a while. I traded it, but that happened to me on that one. WE usually has very good screws, and Off Grid Knives was surprised when I DM'd them on Instagram. They were like, "Oh wow, that's the first time we've ever had that problem," and I believe them. But anyway, they hooked me up. They're sending me a new set of screws. Thank you to Off Grid Knives for having such fantastic customer service. I emailed with a lady named Julie, I believe, or Julia. She was super friendly, super nice. She just asked for my address. We'll get them out to you. She didn't ask for shipping. She didn't ask me to pay for shipping or anything. So I really appreciate Off Grid Knives for backing up their product, because companies can easily, when they have these knives made by an OEM, they can easily just kind of, you know, brush you off because maybe they don't keep extra parts in stock or whatever. But they're taking care of me, so I do appreciate that. But yeah, so that clip was one of the things I wanted to bring up. Because I'll be reversing it back and forth to send it out to people. And I wanted to show you guys a comparison of this knife before I kind of get into my thoughts on it. I believe it was a buddy on Instagram, Alex, who he's a fellow lefty, and we talk a lot, we chat a lot. He said this looks like a larger version of the Kershaw Fraction. And after he said that, I looked at it, and like a bell went off. I have a Kershaw Atmos, a Sinkovich design Kershaw Atmos, and this looks identical to that knife, just bigger. So I have it here. I wanted to show you guys. This is the Kershaw Atmos. So if you look at this knife, if you look at the lines of the design, the shape, it is extremely similar to the Scorpion. I'm hoping you guys can see this. I mean, down to the way the carbon fiber looks, and especially these two, because they have the same, you know, black and satin, black handle satin blade, but they just look so similar to me. The Scorpion has the carbon fiber inlaid in different spots, and this is one inlay of fake carbon fiber. And of course, this is a $30 knife, one of the best $30 knives you can get. And this is a $220 knife. But I just wanted to kind of show that. Once you open it up, though, you can see differences. This blade is a lot more, it has a lot more detail and curve to it, different design. It's more of a reverse tanto, and this is, a standard Sinkovich kind of drop point knife. But again, they are very similar in the handle shape, the blade, all around. They're just very similar knives, and I just thought it was something I wanted to point out to you. And it's funny, after handling these larger knives lately, this Sinkovich feels like a little toy in my hand. This used to be a knife I would carry regularly, and it just felt like a normal size knife, but this just feels like a tiny little kid's toy now. So it's just kind of funny how things change. But anyway, there's the comparison to the Atmos. Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to show you a better comparison of the Kershaw Atmos and the Off-Grid Knives Scorpion, because I did an absolutely terrible shit job of showing you in my first impressions. So I'm going to try to roll this in so you can get a better view. But you can see here how similar these guys are. I mean, the outline of the knife itself is so similar, it's crazy. And if I flip them over, you can see, again, again, they are extremely similar. Now, the flipper tabs are a little different, and obviously the pivots, but just with the inlay and the black and the satin blade, it's amazing how similar these guys look. Open them up here for you. I mean, I don't know. It's just very interesting to me. Even this hump right here, the little indent here. So, anyway, I just wanted to give you a better view of that. Because, again, I did a terrible job in that video. So there you go. I'm going to take it back to myself. Just rambling on and on and on about stuff. Hope you enjoy it. Catch you guys. I got my LaCroix here, the coconut flavor. That's the best one. Best one you can get anyway. If it's in stock, it's hard to get. So the Off-Grid Knives Scorpion. I should probably get into the actual first impressions. I absolutely am loving this knife. It is very comfortable in hand. There's plenty of handle here to hang on to. The clip does not get in the way in terms of like a hot spot. I mean, I can feel it there, but it doesn't dig in. Even if I squeeze down, it's a very low profile clip, but I like that it's deep carry. I mean, it even goes past the handle, so that's cool. The biggest issue I have with this clip, and the thing I mentioned about the screws earlier, I'm not holding that against Off-Grid Knives or this knife. That kind of stuff happens. Maybe the previous owner of this reversed it at one point and messed with that screw. I can't say. I've never had issues with WE screws really, and Off-Grid took care of it, so it's not an issue. What is a little bit of an issue is these button top screws and how they are not countersunk down. That would have been great. They have this little indent here for the clip to go into, so it's inset, but the screws are sticking up, and it depends on the jeans I'm wearing. Like the ones I'm wearing right now, it pops right in, goes all the way down, no problem. But the ones I had on yesterday, it would go in, and then it would catch right here, and then I'd have to give it another little push to get it past those screws. So that's a little nitpick there. The blade is absolutely gorgeous. I am loving this blade. I just love all the cool design elements on here. This swedge up here, just it's a very, very handsome blade. It is super slicey. So I cut I opened some packages with this. I cut some printer paper just to see how she cuts, and it's extremely sharp, extremely thin behind the edge. I'd have to say it's somewhere in the teens, upper teens probably, 17 degrees, something like that. It is a flat grind, and it goes about 3/4 of the blade down. It's a very nice blade. It's S35VN. You can see the little tiny WE marking there. Yeah, but I'm loving the look of it with the carbon fiber and the black kind of stone washed handle. I'm not sure what that's called, dark washed, something like that. It's starting to show a little bit of wear on the edges here, which is awesome. I think that looks great. The action. I am absolutely loving the action on this knife. The flipper tab has some jimping on there. It sticks out enough to where you can get good purchase, but not too much that it's in pocket pecker territory. And when you want it to go, it goes. And if you give it a little gas, it has this really nice sound. Just really thwacks out there. And on the close, it is what I call a controlled drop. So it doesn't just drop free and fall and close. It's pretty much standard WE action where you kind of just give it a little bit of shake and it goes down, and then kind of control. That's just what I call it, a controlled close. So I love the action, and occasionally it will really drop. So it's fantastic there. It is a little bit thin for the size, so it's something to get used to, because you would expect it to be a thicker knife, but it's not. And then one other little nitpick I would have is the access to the lock bar there. There's not that much of it, and the lock bar itself is super thin that it's almost awkward sometimes, especially right-handed, to push it over. Sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with that. Now, left-handed, it's actually easier because I get my thumb in and kind of just push it over and then close it. So I actually prefer to, operate this left-handed, which is what I normally do with knives, but sometimes I like to, fidget with them right-handed, because you can do it. You can do the drop close a lot better right-handed. But this was something I wanted to talk about in my upcoming Lefty Knife Talk video, is the kind of difference between thumb studs and a flipper for a lefty. And I'm talking about right-handed knives, specifically frame lock knives. Sorry, I can't talk. And one of the things I really like about a flipper is the flipper tab and how I can use it to help me manipulate the close, because I can drop it onto my thumb and then move my hand, and then I'm already past the detent. Where on a thumb stud knife, you don't have that, so you have to kind of balance the blade, make sure it doesn't fall too far to hit your finger and cut you, but you don't want it to go too short where it catches on the detent like this, because then you're stuck. So it's a spoiler alert, but I prefer flippers when it comes to right-hand only frame locks. But yeah, so the Off-Grid Knives Scorpion, I'll have a full review coming for you guys in the next week or so. It's a very cool knife. I appreciate Off-Grid Knives for hooking it up with new clip screws. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay sharp.